Magazine news and gossip, the hidden truth behind a sudden visit. Have you ever wondered what truly drives someone to return to a place they once called home? What compels someone to make a long journey, not for business or friendship, but for something far more personal? Could it be the echoes of a past that refuse to fade? Or perhaps the silent tug of unfinished emotions that call them back, even when they've moved on? Welcome, dear viewers, to another fascinating story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. This time, we delve deep into the enigmatic visit of Can to Demet, a reunion that stunned the world and left everyone asking the same question: what really happened behind those closed hospital doors? A surprise return to Istanbul. It all began with a seemingly ordinary scene at Istanbul airport. Can, a name that many of you have followed for years, arrived under the most unusual circumstances. The press, as usual, was on high alert, their cameras ready to snap a picture of him. But Can had no intention of being caught in their web. With a hood over his head and dark glasses concealing more than just his eyes, he moved swiftly through the airport, avoiding the eager journalists. His steps were firm, purposeful, yet there was something in the air that felt different. His face, though mostly hidden, betrayed a hint of unease. Those who were there to witness the moment could sense the tension in his demeanor. This wasn't a regular celebrity arrival. This was a man on a mission. And it wasn't about the glitz and glamour of public appearances or a new business venture. No, this was something far deeper. For those who know Can well, they will tell you that he's not one to act impulsively. But when emotions are involved, he can be driven to do things that defy logic. This time, it was clear. The heart had taken the reins. But what had pulled him back to Istanbul? What was it that had dragged him across thousands of kilometers, despite the passage of time and the end of a relationship that had once been the talk of the town? The answer was simple, yet profound. Sometimes, there are people we can never truly leave behind, even if life takes us far away. And for Can, it seemed that Demet was one of those people. Demet's silent struggle. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Demet lay in intensive care, surrounded by her family and closest friends. The actress, known for her ability to handle the spotlight with grace, had retreated from the public eye, unaware of the storm brewing outside. Her condition was improving, but the doctors had yet to give the green light for her discharge. She was recovering, yes, but still vulnerable, still caught in the aftermath of something no one outside of her closest circle truly understood. She had no idea that Can was already in the city, navigating the bustling streets of Istanbul with a heart full of anticipation. Demet, though still in recovery, could sense something. She could feel a presence, even though she couldn't identify it. It was as if the very air around her had shifted, and she knew, deep down, that someone important was near. But who? She didn't know. All she had was a vague, yet powerful, feeling that something was about to change. A silent gesture, a powerful reunion. Can's arrival at the hospital was far from what the public would have expected. Instead of entering through the main entrance, where the media would have been waiting, he chose a quieter path, guided by a trusted friend to a side door. He wasn't here to make headlines, not this time. He was here to do something more personal, more significant. As Can stepped into the hospital, the cold, sterile atmosphere hit him immediately. The smell of disinfectant, the constant hum of medical equipment, and the tense expressions of the hospital staff, it all created an environment that was far from comforting. But none of that mattered to him. He was there for one reason, and one reason only. He needed to see Demet, not as a former lover, not as a famous actor, but as someone who simply couldn't stay away. He had to be there for her, even if only for a moment. The nurse, uncertain about his presence, hesitated for a moment. But when she saw the look in his eyes, the silent plea for understanding, she relented. She led him to Demet's room, and the moment he crossed the threshold, time seemed to stand still. Demet, weak and disoriented, looked at him. Her eyes, though tired, seemed to recognize him instantly. They hadn't spoken in so long, yet in that single gaze, everything was communicated. No words necessary. Can didn't speak at first. He simply walked over, sat beside her, and gently took her hand. The simple act of holding her hand was enough to bridge the distance that had grown between them. Demet, too weak to say much, whispered his name. It was a sound so soft, so fragile, yet it held so much meaning. In that moment, the years, the heartache, and the distance seemed to melt away. There was no need for explanations, no need for apologies. They were simply two souls who had once shared something profound, and now, that connection was undeniable. The media frenzy. As expected, news of Can's visit spread like wildfire. The media, always eager for a juicy story, quickly began speculating. Was this a reconciliation? Was it just an act of compassion? Everyone had their own theories, but no one could deny that something had shifted between the two. Reporters camped outside the hospital, hoping to catch a glimpse of Can or Demet, but neither of them spoke. They remained silent, allowing their actions to speak louder than any statement could. The days that followed only fueled the rumors. Demet's condition continued to improve, and those close to her noticed a subtle change in her demeanor. She seemed calmer, more at peace. The nurses remarked that she was more present, more connected to the world around her. And though Can didn't return to the hospital, at least not publicly, his presence lingered. It was as if, in that fleeting moment, he had done exactly what he needed to do, and now it was time for both of them to move on. But the impact of his visit was undeniable. Demet, though she never spoke publicly about it, was moved. Those closest to her revealed that Can's visit had touched her deeply, not just because of the gesture itself, but because of the timing. It was as if he had known exactly when she needed him most, when no one else could understand the weight of what she was going through. And that, perhaps, was the most remarkable thing of all. Even after everything, there was a connection between them that refused to be severed. Aftermath and reflection. Can returned to Rome shortly after his visit, resuming his work with the same intensity and focus as always. But those who knew him best said that something had changed in him. It was subtle, but it was there. Perhaps the visit had reminded him of something he had long buried, a part of himself that had been lost over time. Maybe, in some strange way, returning to Istanbul had brought him back to a version of himself he hadn't even realized he had left behind. As for Demet, she has not spoken about the visit, nor has she shared any thoughts on her social media. But the most observant fans have noticed something interesting. Recently, she shared a story with a nostalgic song, one of those songs that speaks volumes without saying a word. She didn't name anyone, didn't offer any clues, but the message was clear to those who were paying attention. Sometimes, the heart says things that words cannot express. And so, the mystery remains. The connection between Can and Demet is a complex one, filled with unspoken emotions and untold stories. They may not be together, and their lives may have taken different paths, but some bonds are not easily broken. Whether they are meant to be together again or not, one thing is certain. Their story is far from over. What do you think, dear viewers? Do you believe that some connections can never truly be severed, no matter the passage of time? Or do you think their time has passed? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to Magazine News and Gossip for more stories just like this. Stay tuned, stay curious, and until next time, goodbye.